Good morning, students. So today we are going to start a physics chapter, that is magnetic effect of electric current. Okay, so here in this chapter you are going to study about the concept of magnetic field lines, magnetic field lines of force, and some two rule we are going to study, that is Fleming's left hand rule, Fleming's right hand rule, and few concepts of electric short circuits. Okay, so before that, let us know what is magnet and what are its fields. About the study of magnet and magnetic field, we are having a short video clip. Just go through it.
You must have seen a magnet with this shape before. It's called a bar magnet. It looks like a chocolate bar. What happens if we bring it near an iron nail? We know that as we bring it closer to the nail, at some point the nail moves towards the magnet and sticks to it. Moreover, it remains there until we manually separate it from the magnet. So why does an iron nail stick to the magnet? This is because of the force of attraction that binds the magnet and the nail together. This force is applied by the magnet on the nail and hence it's called a magnetic force. Here is one interesting question that I want you to answer. Is magnetic force a contact force? In other words, is the contact between a magnet and the nail necessary for the magnet to attract the nail? Let's look at the animation in slow motion. We are moving the magnet towards the nail, and at this point, the nail also begins to move towards the magnet. It means the force came into action even when there was no contact between the magnet and the nail. Hence, we can say that a magnetic force is not a contact force. Contact is not necessary for the magnetic force to work on the nail. To understand this better, we bring this magnet close to the nail and move it slightly up in the air. You will find a slight movement in the iron nail as well. This means that the iron nail is under the influence of a magnetic force even though it's not in contact with the magnet. It again proves that a magnetic force is not a contact force. So we can say that it's a non-contact force. The force exists even though the magnet is not in contact with the iron. But what does this non-contact nature of the magnetic force tell us? It tells us that there is an invisible field produced by the magnet in the space around it. And if you bring any ferromagnetic material in this field, then it experiences that force of attraction. We cannot see this field, but it exists. This field is produced by a magnet and hence it's called a magnetic.
So hope you are clear with what is magnet and what is magnetic force. So now the next concept begins, that is the magnetic field lines. Okay, what is magnetic field lines? So magnetic field lines are the imaginary lines which can be seen in and around the magnet. Okay, magnetic field lines are the imaginary lines. Can you see here the lines which I have drawn? This is a magnet, okay? N and S are the north and south poles of the magnet, and whatever the dotted lines here you can see around the magnet, those lines are called as magnetic field lines. Okay, wherein this magnetic field lines, it is imaginary. You know, magnet and badiyalli itkondu magnetic field lines and huduklikke hogbedi, that is imaginary. Okay, so the lines which can be drawn around the magnet are known as magnetic field lines. So coming to the properties of magnetic field lines, here you have three different properties. So the first property say they emerge from north pole. Okay, they emerge from north pole means magnetic field lines begin at the north pole. So we call it as it emerge from north pole, and they merge at south pole. When the north pole, in the north pole the magnetic field line starts and again it reaches to the south pole. So we say that they merge at south pole. And the third point say they do not intersect each other. So what do you mean by intersecting? If two lines, if they are passing each other through one particular point, then this point we call it as point of intersection. Can you see these lines are in this manner? No, right? So they are very far away from each other. So we can say that they do not intersect each other. So these are the three different properties of magnetic field lines, which is very important question. Next concept is Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, so if you want, you have to take it down, students. This is very important question. Okay, so Fleming's scientist, okay, especially he is a physicist. He has given the theory regarding the study of a magnetic field lines as well as a magnetic force. Okay, so he has given a rule which can be used in a left hand. So that is called as a Fleming's left hand rule. So for this you want your left hand. Okay, first arrange thumb finger, forefinger and center finger perpendicular to each other. Okay, perpendicular to each other. Now what do you mean by perpendicular? Perpendicular means the angle, if you draw the angle between these two lines, that has to be 90 degree. Okay, so once after arranging thumb finger, forefinger, center finger. Thumb finger andre elrige gottuntalla, this is thumb finger, this is a forefinger and this is a center finger. Now here the thumb finger, here I have written thumb, middle and fore. Okay, here I have told you as a center finger. So center is nothing but here middle finger. Okay, so thumb finger, we can say that thumb finger indicates the direction of motion. Okay, thumb finger, it indicates the direction of motion. So always remember, direction of motion of the conductor will be upwards. Okay, how the thumb is showing the direction? It is up. So thumb finger indicates the direction of motion. Similarly, forefinger here. Forefinger shows what? It shows the direction of magnetic field. Forefinger, okay, towards this way. So it shows that the direction of magnetic field. Okay, so I repeat, thumb finger shows the direction of motion of the conductor and forefinger shows the direction of magnetic field. Okay, now which is remaining? Middle finger is remaining. So middle finger is also having some duty. What? It shows the direction of current. Okay, middle finger shows the direction of current. So we shall recall again. The first what you have to do, you have to arrange thumb finger, forefinger, middle finger perpendicular to each other. Okay, next thumb finger indicates the direction of motion and forefinger indicates the direction of magnetic field and the middle finger indicates the direction of current. So this is what called as Fleming's left hand rule. You are clear with the Fleming's left hand rule. Now we are having another rule, that is Fleming's right hand rule. Here we require only thumb and the remaining fingers. Okay, so this indicates Fleming's right hand rule here. Okay, so here thumb indicates the direction of current. Okay, the thumb finger, it indicates the direction of current and the remaining finger indicates the direction of field lines. Can you see the remaining fingers here? We are going to wrap this, right? So we are going to wrap it like this. That indicates the direction of field lines. Now consider this is a conductor. Here electrons are passing. Now when you apply the Fleming's right hand rule here, in this conductor, the thumb finger, it indicates the direction of current. So this thumb finger is here. Okay, in this way the current is moving. So in the sense, in this way the electrons are moving towards upward. Okay, and the remaining finger shows the direction of electric field. Remaining finger is moving like this. It will be keep on rotating like this. Okay, so in this way direction of field lines are transferring. So I repeat again, in Fleming's right hand rule, you require only the thumb finger as a major one, where thumb finger indicates direction of current and the remaining finger indicates direction of magnetic field. So this is Fleming's right hand rule. Next we'll move on to the concept of galvanometer. Okay, galvanometer, it is an instrument that can detect the presence of current. Okay, so if you are having a circuit, one electric circuit, if it is there, then so consider this is a wire. Okay, if this is a wire and current is passing through this wire. Okay, and we have to know that how much amount of current is passing through this wire. So how can we make out how much amount of current is passing through the wire? That can be detected by galvanometer. Okay, so galvanometer is an instrument that can detect the presence or amount of current flowing through that particular wire. Okay, so that is called as galvanometer. Especially this galvanometer is situated in a two main appliances or two main things, that is electric motor and electric generator. Okay, electric motor and electric generators, a diagram is a very, very important, students. Refer your textbook for the diagram. Okay, electric motor and electric generator, in these two equipments you can see the galvanometer. Okay, now coming to the circuital speak, there is a term in a electric motor or in a particular main switch. Everybody has a main switch at in their home, right? So there you can see a term called as a fuse. Okay, so why this fuse is kept over there? This fuse is kept because to prevent from damage to the circuit present at home. Okay, so fuse is a thing that protects your home from overloading or from the short circuiting. Okay, have you heard of short circuit? Usually in some home what happens, short circuit will takes place, right? So why the short circuit takes place? Usually short circuit takes place because of the overload of current. Okay, why short circuit takes place? Because of the overload of current. So sometimes what happens is, if your fuse is well and good in condition, sometimes if the current comes in an overload way also, your fuse will protect it. Your fuse will grab the extra amount of current and only it just sends the suitable amount of current to the home. Okay, so if the fuse condition is not good, then what happens? It loses the capacity of absorbing the extra current. Okay, so if it doesn't absorb the extra current, it leaves all the current to home. So what happens? Overload takes place. So once if the overload takes place, immediately there will be a short circuit. Okay, so usually to know this you need to know the three different wires. Okay, everybody's home has a wire, everybody's home is insulated, right? So if you just check the wires, especially the wires, we can see three different wires we can see. Okay, first one is a live wire, and the next one is a neutral wire, and the other one is a earth wire. Okay, so usually live wire is of red in color. Okay, neutral wire is of a black in color, and earth wire is of green in color. Okay, so these are the three different wires are combined together to form a circuit. Okay, so here, what is the use of this earth wire? Earth wire is specially done for the home as a earthing. Okay, earthing ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದೀರಾ? So why earthing is done? Earthing is done to protect the appliances of whatever electrical appliances your home has. That appliances will be protected by this earth wire. So how does it protect? Okay, so how does it protect? For that you have an answer. That is, this earth wire, it is directly connected to the underground. Okay, once when the earth wire is directly connected to the underground, then some sudden shocks can occur by thundering. Okay, some thundering, sometimes what happens, immediately thunder blast takes place to one particular home. By that time, if that particular home doesn't have a earthing, then automatically what and all the appliances, electrical appliances that home has, for example TV irbodu, fan irbodu, light irbodu, refrigerator irbodu, AC irbodu, ಏನೇ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ ಅಪ್ಲಯನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೋ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಹಾಳಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಕೆಲವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಸಿಡಿಲು ಬಡ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಟಿ ವಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಫ್ಯಾನ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮದು 2 ಲೈಟ್ ಹೋಗಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮದು 2 ಫ್ಯಾನ್ ಹೋಗಿದೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳೋದು ಕೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೇ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Okay, so earthing is very, very important to each and every home to protect their electrical appliances. Okay, so this is what the information of earthing, and you need to know the colors of each wires, students, because those are very important, and also you have to know why the short circuit takes place. Okay, that is a very important question. And one more thing important is electric motor and electric generators diagrams are very important. Okay, explanation I can't predict the explanations importance, but I can surely predict you the diagram of electric motor as well as electric generator. Okay, so keenly observe the diagram. Usually these two diagrams looks similar, but it's not similar. Okay, there is some slight changes. Just keenly observe that and prepare well, practice well. Okay, so here ends the chapter magnetic effect of electric current.